Welcome to Lucid Sigma Female. I like to start my day with a quote. Here is one to take home. The ones who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Steve Jobs. Beautiful people, let's talk about a woman who moves differently, thinks differently, and exists in a league of her own. The Sigma Female. Society often struggles to define her because she doesn't fit into traditional molds. She's independent, introspective, highly intelligent, and uniquely wired. But here's the kicker. Many of the traits that set her apart align with neurodivergent thinking. She processes the world in a way that's fundamentally different from the norm. And today, we're breaking down 10 reasons why the Sigma Female is neurodivergent and why this makes her one of the most extraordinary forces in existence. Before we dive in, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and join this growing community of independent thinkers. Now, let's get into it. Number 1. She thinks in high definition while the world is in 480p. Most people absorb information passively. They hear something, accept it, and move on. But a Sigma Female? She processes the world at an entirely different level. Her mind works like a high-resolution camera, capturing every little detail, analyzing patterns, and seeing beyond the surface. This is a hallmark of neurodivergent thinking, particularly in highly intelligent individuals with traits of autism spectrum disorder, ASD, or gifted cognition. Dr. Temple Grandin, a renowned scientist and advocate for neurodivergent thinkers, once said, "The world needs all kinds of minds." Sigma females often thrive in fields that require deep focus and pattern recognition, like tech, writing, psychology, and entrepreneurship. Example, while others might just see a tree, a Sigma female notices the shade of green in the leaves, the texture of the bark, and the way the wind moves through the branches. This deep perception makes her a master of observation. She isn't just thinking outside the box. She doesn't even acknowledge the box exists. Number 2, her social battery runs on limited supply. The world operates on extroverted energy. Constant socializing, networking, and group dynamics are seen as the norm. But for a Sigma female, that's exhausting. This is not shyness, it's neurodivergence. Many Sigma females show traits associated with introversion and sensory processing sensitivity, SBS, a concept popularized by Dr. Elaine Aron in her book, The Highly Sensitive Person. Dr. Aron's research shows that highly sensitive individuals process stimuli more deeply, leading to quicker exhaustion in social settings. After attending a social event, a Sigma female doesn't feel energized, she feels drained. She needs time to decompress, process interactions, and regain clarity. Society expects her to be on all the time, but she thrives best when she balances social engagement with solitude. Number 3, rules, guidelines. She makes her own playbook. There's a reason why so many Sigma females become entrepreneurs, artists, or innovators. They don't just dislike rules. They see them as completely unnecessary. Simon Sinek, author of Start With Why, explains that true leaders don't follow the crowd. They create new paths. Sigma females embody this mindset because they're wired to challenge the status quo. In a traditional job, most people follow protocols without question. A Sigma female? She's rethinking the entire system. If something doesn't make sense, she questions it. And that's why she often clashes with authority, because her neurodivergent mind sees inefficiencies where others see structure. Number 4, hyperfocus mode activated. One of the biggest indicators of a neurodivergent mind is the ability to hyperfocus. This is a key trait of ADHD and highly creative individuals. Dr. Edward Hollowell, a leading ADHD expert, explains that hyperfocus is a superpower when channeled correctly. A Sigma female working on a creative project might disappear for hours, even days, completely immersed. She forgets to eat, ignores texts, and becomes one with her work. But here's the flip side. If she's not interested, she literally cannot focus. This is why traditional jobs often feel like torture for her. Number 5, she doesn't just think outside the box, she lives outside it. Most people follow a blueprint for life. The Sigma female? She creates her own. Author James Clear, in Atomic Habits, explains that high achievers break traditional structures to build their own path. Sigma females do exactly this. They prioritize growth over convention. While her peers are settling into predictable careers, she's starting her own business, moving across the world, or diving into creative pursuits. She doesn't conform, she evolves. Number 6. Sensory overload is real. The world is too loud, too bright, and too chaotic for a Sigma female's sensitive nervous system. Dr. Judith Orloff, in the Empathist Survival Guide, discusses how sensitive individuals absorb energy more intensely. This makes crowds, noise, and excessive stimulation overwhelming. Ever wonder why a Sigma female prefers quiet cafes over loud parties? It's because her brain processes sensory input more deeply, making overstimulation physically and mentally exhausting. This isn't a weakness, it's a superpower in the right environment. Number 7. She's emotionally deep, but you'd never know it. Sigma females feel emotions intensely, but rarely express them openly. Psychologist Carl Jung described introverted intuition as the ability to process emotions deeply without external expression. Sigma females embody this perfectly. Example: she may appear calm and collected, but inside, she's experiencing emotions at an extreme depth. She doesn't need validation. She processes her emotions on her own terms. Number 8. Traditional relationships? Too predictable. A Sigma female doesn't settle for surface-level connections. Breen Brown, in Daring Greatly, emphasizes that true connection requires depth. That's why Sigma females struggle with shallow relationships. She needs a partner who respects her independence, challenges her intellectually, and doesn't try to fix her. Number 9. She sees through people instantly, like a human lie detector. Most people listen to words, but a Sigma female? She listens to what's not being said. Her ability to read between the lines, analyze micro-expressions, and detect inconsistencies makes her a natural human lie detector. Paul Ekman, a leading psychologist and pioneer in the study of micro-expressions, explains in his book Telling Lies that only a small percentage of people have an innate ability to detect deception effortlessly, and Sigma females are among them. A Sigma female doesn't need someone to outright lie to her. If their tone shifts slightly, if their body language contradicts their words, or if they avoid eye contact in a key moment, she picks up on it instantly. This ability comes from her neurodivergent mind's heightened pattern recognition. Her brain processes subtle cues and inconsistencies that most people overlook. Malcolm Gladwell, in his book Blink, discusses how some people make split-second decisions that are eerily accurate. This is called thin slicing. Sigma females thin slice interactions with laser precision, allowing them to instantly spot manipulation or dishonesty, sense when someone has hidden motives, detect emotional shifts that others might not even realize they're experiencing. Imagine a Sigma female on a first date. The guy might be saying all the right things, but his body language is stiff, his eye contact is slightly off, and his smile doesn't quite reach his eyes. Most people would dismiss it. But the Sigma female, she knows something is off, and 99% of the time, she's right. That's her superpower. This ability is both a blessing and a curse. It makes her almost impossible to manipulate, but it also means she struggles to trust people because she sees their true intentions too quickly. Her intuition is so sharp that most people mistake it for paranoia. But make no mistake, her gut feeling is almost never wrong. 10. Society tries to label her, but she refuses to fit any mold. Society loves labels. It wants to categorize people into neat little boxes: extrovert or introvert, leader or follower, normal or different. But the Sigma female? She defies every single label. Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, described introverted intuition as a cognitive function that allows certain individuals to see beyond surface-level reality and process information in an abstract, highly independent way. This is exactly why the Sigma female doesn't fit into traditional categories. She's not a social butterfly, but she's not antisocial. She's not a rebel, but she doesn't conform. She's not emotionless, but she doesn't wear her heart on her sleeve. Throughout history, the most brilliant and unconventional minds have been misunderstood. Marie Curie ignored societal expectations to revolutionize science. Emily Dickinson rejected public life and wrote in solitude, only for her poetry to become legendary after her death. Joan of Arc refused to conform to gender norms and led an army. Sigma females operate on the same wavelength. Their neurodivergent wiring makes them immune to societal pressures because they see that most rules are completely arbitrary. Mark Manson, in The Subtle Art of Who Changed the World, are those who stop seeking external validation and start living for themselves. This is exactly why Sigma females stand out. They don't crave approval from the world, they build their own. Real-life scenario. A Sigma female might choose an unconventional career path, live life on her own terms, or reject social norms that don't serve her. People call her too much or too different. But years later, the same people who doubted her start admiring her success. Steve Jobs once said, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life." Sigma females live by this principle. They refuse to be boxed in, labeled, or forced into a role that doesn't align with their essence. And that beautiful people is why they are so powerful. Beautiful people, if this resonated with you, embrace your power. Society might not understand you, but that's their loss. Make sure to like, subscribe, and join this movement of independent thinkers. Having said this, I'll catch you in the next one. Stay legendary.